Hello guys, I am Dr. Krishna Bhargavi and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will be discussing about the SQL operators. These SQL operators are used in the selection capability of a select statement. To learn and recollect the selection capability, please refer to the previous video. In this video, we will focus on the selection capability in which we will focus on the SQL operators. So here we already have discussed that there are 4 SQL operators that we will be using. And these SQL operators are used exclusively only in SQL language. So what are those 4 operators that we have seen in the previous session? So the first one is range operator. Second one is in operator, is null and like. So among these 4 operators, in this video we will discuss about range operator, and in the upcoming videos we will discuss the rest of the operators. So without any delay, let us start the session. So what a range operator is? So here basically in SQL, we have this range operator which is called as between and operator. So whenever you are working with this between and operator, the first point that you should remember is this range operator is an inclusive operator. So what do you mean by this inclusive operator? Whatever boundaries that you are specifying for the range operator, these boundaries are also included in the condition whenever you are checking for values. And the second rule is, after the between clause, always the lower limit is to be specified, and after the and clause, the upper limit is to be specified. So this is the second rule to use the between and operator. The third one is, this operator can be used on the numerical data, character data, as well as date data types. Fourth one, for range operator, you have a negation of range operator which is represented using not between and. So these are the rules that you will have to use when we are working with the range operator. So it is basically called as range operator for the reason that it is always verifying for a range of values. So for that reason, we call the between and operator as range operator. So we will see now an example on understanding how to work with this range operator. So here is the first question for us. We wanted to display the name and salary of employees who earns a salary in the range of 2500 to 3500. So please observe here, whenever we are writing the select statement, as we discussed, break down the select statement into 3 clauses: select, from and where. In the from clause, fill the table name from which you wanted to retrieve the data. In the select clause, mention the attributes from where you wanted to retrieve the data, what data that you wanted to retrieve. So here we have name and salary. So mention them here, last name, comma, salary. Where, what's the condition? The salary should be in the range of 2500 to 3500. So here it means that you are searching for salary and the salary should be greater than or equal to 2500 and the salary should be less than or equal to 3500. So this is the condition that we have. So here if you observe, these two are multiple conditions, and in order to combine this multiple condition, you are making use of a logical operator, right? So here When do you make use of a range operator? So please observe, the first rule is it is an inclusive operator. So check whether the lower boundary and upper boundary are included in the question. Yes, for this query it is satisfying. Then you have a lower limit and an upper limit provided. And this operator works on numerical data. So now let us see how can you replace this query by making use of the range operator. So here we go with mention select from where from employees table, and the data that you wanted to retrieve is last name comma salary. There is no change in the select clause and from clause. So now observe, when you are writing the between and operator, you will mention the attribute only once. So salary between, after between clause, only the lower limit is to be represented. So specify 2500 and followed by upper limit. So it is 3500, provide a semicolon. So performance wise, this query and this query both works the same. But if you can observe, the length of the query is reduced much when you are working with this range operator. So whenever there is a chance that all these 4 conditions are getting satisfied or 3 conditions are getting satisfied, make use of the range operator instead of going with a combination of comparison and logical operators. So let us observe the same here on the slide. The same thing. The first one is making use of a combination of comparison with logical, and the second one is making use of between and. So as I told you, here is the rule. Always the between operator is an inclusive operator and the lower limit must be given first. So now let us try to execute this and understand how it works. So here I am mentioning select last name comma salary from the table name employees, where what is the condition? Salary less than or equal to 2500 and salary greater than or equal to 3500, right? So you require this information. I'm sorry, here it is greater than or equal to and here it is less than or equal to because you want in this range, right? So this is the output. You have 33 people who are getting salary in the range of 2500 to 3500. So let us try to execute the same query, but now replacing the comparison and logical operators with between and. So when you are providing between, it is 2500 and 3500. So please observe, the output is same, the number of records that it is fetching same, and the time it is taking is also same. But only difference is in the length of the query. So here we go with, this is the next question. Pause the video for a while and try to write the query by yourself. The question is, display name and salary of employees who earn salary above 2500 and less than 3500. So please observe. So here when we are writing this query, how do we mention this? You still require the select, from and where clauses. So mention the table name from which you wanted to retrieve the data. So it is employees table. What data is required? Last name, comma salary. And in the where clause, what you will have to write? Salary. And please observe. Here you wanted to obtain above 2500 and less than 3500. Correct? So here if I mention salary above 2500 and salary less than 3500, right? So in the earlier case, you are asking including these boundary values. Now you do not require these boundaries, right? So whoever are in between this range, So we require only those people salary, right? So now let us try to understand this by executing the query. So please observe here, select last name comma salary from employees where salary greater than 2500 and salary less than 3500. So here we go. You have list of employees who are in this range, who are earning above 2500 but less than 3500. So there are 26 such employees who are earning in this range. But here if you observe, we cannot replace this query with the range operator. Can you understand or identify the reason for it? The first one, boundaries are not inclusive, correct? So because of that reason, you cannot replace this query with a range operator. Yes, so we will proceed further by taking one more question. So here we would like to display the name and salary of employees who earn salary less than 2500 but greater than 3500. Now please try to understand this. I am writing the query condition here. I'm sorry. So the first thing is you require 2500 and 3500 including these values. So you are using between and. Now we are saying we require 2500, 3500 but not including these values. So between this range, you are excluding these values. So in this case, you cannot use between and operator. So this is not allowed. And the now next question is you require salary less than this value and greater than this value. So you do not require this range of values, right? So now for this third query, how can you write the answer? Please pause the video for a while and try to evaluate the query. I am repeating the question here. We wanted to display the name and salary of employees who earn salary less than 2500 and greater than 3500. So we start with select from where clauses from employees. What data is required? Last name comma salary. And what is the condition now? Salary should be less than 2500 or salary should be greater than 3500. So you require either this data or this data, correct? So you do not require these people who are falling in this range. So here this is completely negation of between and operator, correct? What do you mean by negation? Opposite, right? So here the boundaries are not included and negation is or, so you are making use of or operator. So now you can replace this by specifying select from where. So the select and from clauses are not changing. So we will continue with employees, last name comma salary. And now what is the condition? You specify salary not between. So it should not be in this range. In which range? It should not be in between 2500 and 3500. So including this value, you are removing this part and you are getting this part of information. So this is how you can make use of negation of the between and operator. So here we go with the execution. So I am writing select last name comma salary from employees where salary is less than 2500 or it should be greater than 3500, right? Not in this range of values. So here if you observe, you have 74 such people. We are going with the same query, but now instead of working with the comparison operator and logical operator, we are making use of not between 2500 and 3500. So see, the same 74 people are still in that range who are not earning in this range of values, which is 2500 to 3500. They are not included in this range of values. So either you can go with the comparison operator. So whenever you are using comparison and logical, as this is negation, boundaries should not be included. The negation of AND operator is OR operator. And otherwise you can mention as not between, specify the range of values 2500 and 3500. So as a conclusion, in this video, we learned about one of the SQL operators, which is a range operator. The range operator is basically an inclusive operator, which means the boundaries are included. And always the lower limit comes first when we are working with the between and operator. There is also a negation of between and operator, which we call as not between and. If you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.